Hello and welcome into Main Street Preps this week. I'm Russell Venozzi, joined as always by Tyler Palmatier. And Tyler, we are set to talk about some postseason hoops today. You ready to do that?
Yep, let's do it.
All right. Today's show, we have Good Pasture Boys basketball coach Adam Sonn set to join us in just a moment. And then after that, we will talk to Middle Tennessee Christian School girls basketball coach Hannah Jones. Both of those teams were in the state finals last year and both have excellent teams again this season. Before we get to those interviews, though, I want to remind everybody that this podcast is sponsored by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. All right, let's go ahead and bring in Adam Sonn now. Adam, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Russell, I appreciate you guys having me.
You bet, and especially on a game day, too. We're glad to get you. And I know you guys start the region tournament tonight against Grace Christian Academy. Adam, these last 2 years, you guys have been a really good February and March team. And that's really what it's all about in basketball. It's a tournament sport. What has been the key to playing so well this time of year, especially, when one slip up can spell the end of your season?
No, you said it. It's a tournament sport, and this is the time of the year you play for. But just trying to maintain the balance and kind of the approach that we take into every game, regardless of the time of the year. It's not a time where you may play your best basketball game. We've probably already played our best basketball game of the year. Okay. But at the same time, it's about, what attributes come into play, who loses the game less when it's good versus good. And I think we're built in a few ways where we've been able to realize that. Also our team is built where we could play a few different ways. We've got a big senior class, we've got versatility, and then we've got some guys who've been in these situations before as well. So I think, to answer your question, it's a blend of a few things. But at the same time, it's the time of the year that matters most, and you shouldn't have to motivate your team, anybody, to play when elimination's on the line.
Yeah, playing through imperfection, such an important thing this time of year. You touched on this, Adam. But when you're the big favorite or considered a favorite, which is a role you guys have kind of been saddled with the last couple of years, how do you avoid complacency in these early rounds?
Keeping that in the forefront of their mind, that's the thing. It's yesterday was, seniors. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom to start, but I hope this isn't your last practice at Good Pasture. It could be. But at the same time, it kind of goes into what we want day in, day out our program to be about, which is the Maxim crew, which is culture, respect, excellence, and work. And if you take care of a lot of habits, the results kind of take care of themselves. But at the same time, like, others' expectations for us, really don't matter. It's more about our standard, and then the scoreboard taking care of itself. And obviously the last couple of years we've had talent, we've had depth, we've had versatility. So, not trying to overthink it, but still, like you said, being intentional and keeping it real. Like, hey, that could be your last practice yesterday.
Isaiah West is having a great bounce back year following the ACL injury that sidelined him for most of his junior season. I know he earned district MVP for the stat line right now that reads 11.6 points a game, 4.7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2.7 steals. Adam, how have you seen Isaiah evolve his game post-injury?
Well, just the resilience and the work ethic to get back to a place to continue to build up, which, October, November kind of started seeing some old Isaiah and some more minutes in December with some good competitions, some good performances, and continued athleticism. But part of it is role changing a little bit for us as well. He's not averaging 16 or 17 a game this year. I think he's averaging more like 12 or 13. And but he's more of a point guard role for us too. And that's such a steadying person to have in that position. So that being said, like, just continuing to be who he is, understand the game, be a good person, understand that, if we do well, individual things will shine as well. But him just being him, there's so much you can't really coach or teach. It's a luxury to be able to have. So just proud of him. But that's the thing. New Year's a year ago, he tears his ACL. He has the surgery in end of February, early March, and he bounces back. And we're sitting in as good a position as we could be sitting in terms of health, knock on wood, in terms of standings, in terms of controlling our own destiny. And he bounces back and is the regular season MVP and the district tournament MVP as well. It's pretty cool, and I hope he gets to continue this story, because it's one that needs to be remembered.
Yeah, Isaiah the other night had over 20 points, well above his 11.5 point average. Are there games, Adam, where you tell him beforehand, hey, I want you to be a different guy tonight. I need more out of you than usual. I need you to score the basketball?
I mean, we touch base with our guys every couple of weeks throughout the season, throughout every segment. How we break down the season into basically 2-week segments at a time, and share the positives, share the negatives or areas for improvement and things like that. But sometimes obviously, with certain whatever a game plan calls for, sure, that's the thing. Isaiah really doesn't have any knocks on his game. That's the thing. It's hard to find a negative to say, hey, I need you to improve on this, just because he's that well-rounded. But at the same time, like, hey, this might be one you might need to be a little more aggressive, or things of that nature as well. So yeah, he's got that part in him. I think he's shooting into the 50s overall as a field goal percentage. He's like mid 40s from three, and pushing 75 to 80 from the free throw line. So that being said, plus his IQ, his athleticism, being able to play both sides of the ball, he really doesn't have any weaknesses at this level for us. But in high school, the aggressiveness here and there, we might need you to do a little more of this game, this and that. Just be ready to do that, but just continue to make the right play, which is what he does.
And of course, it's not just Isaiah who's getting the job done for you guys right now. You guys have 6 players who average at least 5 points a game. I want to key in on sophomores Jaden Jones and King Curie. Those guys look like emerging stars. What have you seen from them this year that maybe gives you a sense that they could be those kind of the next in line after Isaiah's gone to kind of carry this team?
So with Jaden, that came on post when Isaiah got injured last year. He became our most productive player, and when Isaiah went down, that was a huge piece. Obviously for anybody to lose, but one that we had to figure out, okay, how do we reshuffle, or do we reshuffle, or do we hang on our hat more on just continuing to be a rebounding team, and then just kind of, find where we go offensively. And Jaden made that decision easy for us. I think he averaged 18 and 8 the rest of the way post Isaiah's injury. And, I didn't know if we'd be able to run it all the way back to the final game without Isaiah, but Jaden was a huge area of production and leading us there. So combining now Jaden back with a healthier Isaiah is a fun one for sure, and one that I'm glad we don't have to plan for and other teams do. And then you talk about King as a combo sophomore guard. King's one who he's a very good ball handler. He has very good instincts. He's continued to improve his explosiveness and defense and lower body. And he does a lot of things for us game to game that might be different from game to game. And it's good to see really these last few weeks. He's played some of the best basketball he's played at Good Pasture. So those two, obviously, that you've highlighted, future, the now is good, but the future still continues to be promising with a combo guard and a combo forward in place that are here for 2 more years.
Do you get a sense, Adam, what Good Pasture's future might be? Does it want to remain a smaller private school, or do you sense that there are aspirations to grow in terms of the enrollment?
I mean, I'm sure every private school would tell you they want to continue to grow. I mean, that's good business. But at the same time, like, I think Good Pasture wants to just be as good as of a product as Good Pasture can be. And our enrollment and location and all of that are what they are. So obviously how we're grouped into TSSAA and sports across the board and those district regions and things of that nature. But at the same time, specifically speaking for our basketball program, which we've succeeded, at a broad level and have been very consistent year in, year out, in the league in which we do play in. You've got to bring it every year, and nothing is assumed and given. Okay. Like the spot we're in for sure. But at the same time, knowing that, we've got to continue to do a good job in going and getting games outside of our league who I think, some of the better teams around town are, whether that's in the Division II AA league in boys basketball, which there's a very good slate of teams. And then obviously the 4A teams around town. And I think our schedule reflects that year to year. So that being said, we want to give guys memorable games to play in and good opportunities and things like that outside of our league, in addition to doing as well as we can in our league. But from a school, sure, I'm sure every school would say they'd want to grow. But at the same time, there are certain things as well that are decisions made school-wide for all your sports. And obviously we know how that factors in with our district and region in the TSSAA.
Well, Adam, good stuff. That is all we've got for you today. Thanks for joining us on a game day, and best of luck in this region tournament as you guys move forward here in the postseason.
I appreciate you guys having me on. And appreciate what you do for the sports, high school sports scene. And then obviously it's a exciting time of the year. So we'll see you guys down the road.
Thanks, Adam.
All right. We'll see you soon. That has been Good Pasture boys basketball coach Adam Sonn. Appreciate his time today. We're going to take a quick break and then come back and talk to Middle Tennessee Christian girls basketball coach Hannah Jones. So stick around.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor.
I thought I could hold my liquor.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It was just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good try.
There aren't any cops around.
I didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay?
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
We are back with more here on Main Street Preps this week. We are going to be joined now by Middle Tennessee Christian girls basketball coach Hannah Jones. Hannah, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So Hannah, you guys picked up a all important region quarterfinal win last night over Ezel Harding. And I know that's a round that can kind of worry coaches sometimes because it's the really the first big win or go home situation. Usually a night where some really good teams are eliminated. How did your team approach that matchup and take care of business on Tuesday night?
Well, Ezel we watched film obviously and did a scouting report. And so within that scouting report, we just looked at them defensively and how we can score against that. And then how we're going to guard their personnel. And I think our girls definitely respond to the visual scouting reports. And Ezel is very long and athletic. They like to push the ball. They have high possession counts. They go after they are in double-digit offensive rebound nights almost all the time. So box outs were key, and physicality and just ball control. So all of those keys we really honed in on. I'm not saying we did it perfectly in the game because they still got on the boards. They did what they did, but we just ended up coming out on top.
That sounds like a great scouting report. As the playoffs start here, Hannah, can you think of anything that your team might have gained from that deep run last year to the D2A state finals?
I think definitely just the endurance, understanding that what it takes to go that far, making it to the state semifinals and then playing the next day in the state championship. I mean, that's a mental battle as much as it is a physical battle. So just being there gets you experience you can't teach that. You have to be in it. You have to learn that. You have to experience it. So then you're more prepared for next year. We did lose 4 seniors last year, but we had a lot of returners, like our big 3 of Jalen Banks, Autumn Davis, Anna Clay Shirley. They were all in that scenario. So they have that experience that they can lean into and impart wisdom onto their teammates and just be able to handle the pressure and in those intense situations and just, yeah.
So you mentioned a moment ago how important Jalen Banks was during that run. And obviously she signed with Belmont now and was named a Miss Basketball finalist last week. And she leads the team at scoring right at 20 points a game. How much of what you guys do is based on what she's able to do? How much of the team kind of follows her lead?
I mean, she's a huge part of it. Definitely. I mean, you talked about her points, 20 points per game. She's very skilled offensively, but defensively, she is definitely an energy bringer on defense. She's an elite defender on ball, off the ball. Her rebounds are huge too. It helps us into our transition game as well. So, I mean, she's got her hand in almost every single thing.
Going back to that run last year, Hannah, you guys had a great crowd in that state finals, and you really pressured Webb in that first half. And I think you had a lot of people looking maybe surprised there at halftime of that game. And I'm mainly pointing to us in the media who I don't think a lot of us really thought that was going to happen. What were the most memorable parts of that run to you? And is this a team in general that tends to surprise you?
My team or the Webb team surprises me?
Your team.
My team. Yeah, our girls, they're definitely competitors. And I think that they are reaching as far as they can, maximizing their potential. And that's all I can ask of them. So when they do that, it doesn't surprise me just because we were very adamant in pouring into like maximizing your potential, reach for that. So the toughest team there is Webb. So what do we have to do that? Just control what you can control. And then our crowd was amazing. I remember there was a video someone took where we had our girls holding up the runner-up silver ball basketball, and it panned to the stands. And it was so cool just seeing all of our community support these girls. And they had never been to the state tournament before. So this was a really amazing moment to see that support and for the girls to feel that and just say like, hey, this was step one and we're going to continue to want this and maximize potential. And the farthest we can go is a state championship. So what do we have to do to get there? And I think our community is going to continue to support us like that.
Tyler, was that your video? I think it was, wasn't it?
I wish I could remember. I've probably
been a long time.
1,000 videos at sports.
I don't know. It was so cool though.
The crowd was amazing. The standing
moment.
Ovation from the time the game ended to whenever everybody walked off the court, that was a memory that I remember. So I probably did take a video, I would guess.
Yeah, that might have been the best showing of support that we saw all that weekend at Tennessee Tech.
Agreed.
But fast forward now to this year, Hannah, back to the present day. Anna Claire Shirley is another player you mentioned is playing really well, and she's just been awesome as a freshman now. Played some as an 8th grader, but has taken a step forward this year. She's right at 13 points a game, 4 rebounds, and 36% from 3-point land. Were you expecting her to continue kind of on this trajectory of becoming a really good player this year at such a young age?
Oh yeah. Anna Clay is, and she wasn't tall. I'm like 5'11" and she has now passed me in height. So I'm just crazy of like her ceiling is really, really high. I think that last year, yes, she was an 8th grader, pulled her up, and I never looked back. I think she has a lot to give. She can score, obviously, from the 3. The stats show that, but she can also get straight line and get downhill. And she's got some fire to her too. And I think Anna Clay is definitely a competitor who's going to continue to grow, going to continue to shape her game, and she's just got to, I think, continue to work defensively too. And I think Jalen and Autumn are both great examples for her to look at, and just to become that elite defender and continue to round out her game.
Going back to Webb school, Anna, with them having a Leah Del Rosario inside, who is, I think, all of 6'5", she's committed to LSU. That specific part of defending them with a body inside that really nobody's really used to defending. How do you approach that?
Well, we get guys at our school to come be practice squad players. We definitely key in on specific tendencies of other players. So where does she catch the ball, or which left shoulder, right hand, right shoulder, left hand, that kind of thing. Like, so there's things that we can work to our advantage, and just, it's an IQ type thing. You've got to be ready for that. Definitely got to take away her paint touches. So how do we do that? We keep her from getting in the paint. How do you do that? It's just like, where does she get her stuff? And then how do you work backwards from there? So, and I also think that approach helps our girls in developing like their own self-scout. Like, well, if we're approaching other teams like this, how would we approach other teams approach us? And like, that makes sense to them. And I think it's just overall growing their mental IQ, which pours seeds in to continue to make MTCS girls basketball a long-term success. If we're just continuing to build those mental reps and understanding. Not everybody is 6'5". I can't just grow a 6'5" player here, and height is amazing. And I think that Webb is also, like Del Rosario, 32. She is surrounded by a lot of really great players who tap in and key in on her. So they've got speed from the perimeter, they've got length from the perimeter, who can find her, and they set her up. So I think she's got a lot of help too. So ball pressure is key, and making sure that we can take away just things that we can control, like in transition defense or boxing out, being physical. I think physicality beats talent. So it's just getting it done. And that's really hard on high school girls. That's tough. So the fact that our girls are on board for that challenge, I think speaks to their character and their competitiveness. And I'm so thankful for them.
Yeah, you guys have played Webb as close as anybody from around here, really all season, a couple of times. I know the last meeting wasn't quite as close, but we had Coach Matt Shoemake on here last week, and he called the games between Webb and MTCS as a rivalry kind of in the making. Is it encouraging when you guys have a close game against them, or does it get frustrating at all when it's kind of time after time you guys are right there and not able to kind of get that result that you want?
I think it's definitely exciting. Because when you lose that close, or when you lose whenever, you're exciting because you see areas of improvement. You see, well, I didn't really see that play right there, or I didn't see this. Our girls can open up their eyes. We watch the film later. You're either winning or you're growing. Like, just because we lose, it doesn't mean that it's frustrating. I mean, yeah, nobody likes to lose, obviously, but it's exciting to learn what we can get better at. If you don't have a growth mindset, then maybe basketball's not the sport for you. You've got to continue to learn and grow. And I think true competitors are always doing that. They're always looking and reflecting at themselves, how they can be better. So it's exciting. The first 2 games, we lost by 11 both those times. The third game coming from the high of beating PCA, which I think is a bigger rivalry than Webb, and then because they're literally down the street, and then back to back the next day. I think just that's where we have to be more mentally prepared of, they're going to do what they do, which is fly it in transition, pound it in the paint, pressure you on the ball, just a very high intense physical game that coming back to back from playing our rival PCA and beating them, and then back to back, because that could, if we do make it to the state semifinals and championship, that's the environment. So we just have to continue to learn and grow and be mentally prepared for back-to-back game days.
And I want to go back to something you said earlier, and then we're going to get you out of here. But you mentioned that you have some taller guy players come in as practice players. I may just be out of the loop, but I haven't heard of a whole lot of high school teams doing that. I know it's a pretty common practice with women's basketball in college to bring in, practice players. They're usually guys that have played high school basketball, and they go in and they just present a different kind of personnel to guard. How did you come up with that idea? And are more teams doing that in high school than I realize?
I think more people do that than you realize, because I did have that happen in high school when I was playing at Brentwood High School. Coach Singlethaler would bring he had a son who was really athletic and was on the track team, and then he would bring guys in. So that's something that I've just always been a part of. It's very normal to me. Why would we not want to play guys? And then it gets reps that everyone, like, they can bigger, faster, stronger. And that maybe these guys are guys who've never played basketball. So they're just there are opportunities for us to, like, capitalize on athleticism, but maybe not the skill set, So it's just, that's something that we've always done. When I was a player, when I've coached elsewhere, and when I coached at Lipscomb. So we've always had practice guys.
Well, Hannah, it certainly seems like what you guys are doing is working. So congratulations on making it this far, and best of luck throughout the rest of the postseason. We appreciate you being here today.
Awesome. No, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Anna.
That has been Middle Tennessee girls basketball coach, Middle Tennessee Christian girls basketball coach, Hannah Jones. Her team is on to the semifinals there in the Division II Single A Middle Region tournament, and probably on a collision course with Webb at least one more time, and possibly a second if they're able to get back to the state finals. And we actually have one more commercial to run, so we will take a quick break and then come back to wrap up the show in just a moment.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was no big deal. Hey, I can hold my liquor.
I thought I could hold my liquor.
Got about a minute and a half left here, Tyler, but so let's just tease a little bit of some of the coverage we've got coming to Main Street Preps this week. I know outside of all the postseason basketball that's happening, that's basically every night. There's going to be some wrestling state championships decided this weekend over at NBA.
Yeah, individual wrestling championships. There's a few environments better in high school sports around here than that setup at NBA. With you've got some really good Division II wrestling powers, and that gym obviously, kind of a surround type bowl that you don't get everywhere. Really feels like more like a small college gym, and wrestling environments for people who don't go. You're kind of missing out on something. It's a lot different than basketball. It's a different energy than really any other sport. So, yeah, that's a really exciting thing coming up as we hit another sport at a time when basketball is really just, nonstop. But then also D2 AA, some middle region elimination games tomorrow, or oh my gosh, it's tonight. Ensworth and Lipscomb, D2 Single A. There's a really good one between Davidson Academy and BGA. So those games are always fun. Anything win or go home is always fun. So yeah, this week I always feel like kicks off the month-long excursion through basketball postseason. And obviously we've got some more wrestling postseason next week. So this to me has always kicked it off. That'll be it's a fun but busy month.
And we will be there to cover it throughout the entirety. So we appreciate everybody tuning in today, and we will see you same place, same time next week on Main Street Preps this week. Talk to you then.